What's up everybody? It's Ferrari Steve, and today I'm going to do a demo slash review slash discussion slash mess around with the Worksharp Knife and Tool Ken Onion Edition. Boom! There it is. Alright, so what is the Worksharp Knife and Tool Sharpener Ken Onion Edition, and who is Ken Onion, and was there a first edition, and what happened to that edition, and man, slow down. That's a lot of questions. We're going to get to all your questions, man. Let's start with what is it. So it's a sharpening system. It's powered. Yeah. Oh, okay. It's a powered system for sharpening knives, which gives it a few benefits to the manual approaches. One is speed. Two is arguably reliability and comparable results from sharpening session to sharpening session, and but basically speed and convenience and the ability to get a lot of stuff sharp in a relatively short amount of time. And this is not to hate on the Lanskys or some of the stone-based systems. I think they're awesome, but I wanted something to kind of get me through a lot of knives quickly and to kind of keep things sharp quickly. So this is what I went with. So the concept is you put these little belts on, and these belts come in bigger grit. This is their X65, and you move down to their X22 and their X4 and their 6000. This one is just for repairing damaged edges and for doing some serious reprofiling work. So I haven't even used this yet, and I doubt I will unless I really run into problems. So we'll put it aside. But essentially you start and especially the first time you use a knife on this, you are going to change the geometry of your blade. So most blades come from the factory bevel, right? The bevel is the angle that's cut to the point, is going to be a straight bevel like that. Whereas this system, because your blade sits in here as it's spinning, and this kind of curves around it, see that? See how it kind of curves in there? You're going to end up with a convex edge. And a convex edge is kind of like, kind of like these pliers, right? This creates a curve to this point, or some of the old churches in France, a Gothic arch, not a Roman arch. A Roman arch is rounded, right? But a Gothic arch kind of arches up and comes to a point. That is a convex edge on a knife, essentially. So some people argue that convex edges will hold their edge better and are more effective for certain purposes. And if you believe that, then this is probably the system for you. So how does it work? Well, again, you start with the most coarse, and then you grab, you set that angle. So it has a variable angle. You can choose, let's say, a kitchen knife. So I like kitchen knives at 20 degrees on each side, right? So that's a total of 40 degrees. So I set it at 20 degrees. I put the belt on, and then there's these little sharpening guides here, these little edge guides, and they flex so that if you get too far out, it'll pull it away. But you essentially put the knife in, turn it on, and draw back, and this keeps it so you're not wobbling around. If you keep constant pressure here, as you draw back, it will sharpen the edge. So this is a piece of junk knife. I bought it for 25 cents at Goodwill, and I bought it because I wanted to practice. I bought actually a bunch of knives at Goodwill so I could practice with it. And this one I haven't done anything to, so I could kind of show you what a factory bevel on a piece of crap knife looks like. I mean, this is not sharp at all. I mean, I can sit there and squeeze it. I'm not going to get cut. It's a terrible, terrible job, a terrible product, but even a terrible product can be sharpened. Now, how long will it hold that? Who knows? Probably for one cut. But here is what I did with a piece of crap knife, another 25-cent knife, with the Worksharp. And I got a mirror edge on there. I'm hoping you can see that. Now, it is scratched up a bit. I didn't put any masking tape. When you have a knife you care about, you can put masking tape along the outside to stop it from scratching. And because these are such crappy pieces of metal, there was a lot of shavings flying around, and I think it scratched as I pulled it through. So with a nice knife, I would put masking tape on the side. But just for this demo, I'm going to be using pieces of crap knives, so I don't need to. But I mean, this took me, I don't know, 10-15 minutes to do, and it was early on, the first one I did, but I'm really happy with the results. I mean, that looks like professional sharpening on that edge. Is it sharp? Well, let's find out. Got to do the paper test, right? If you're doing a knife sharpening video. Yeah, it's sharp, even though it's a piece of crap. A 25-cent knife, you can make it sharp with this system, so I kind of dig it. So what I figured I'd do is demonstrate a couple things. I'm going to sharpen another piece of crap knife. I literally found this pocket knife. Look at that. That's a piece of crap. And also not sharp at all. So we're going to do the initial sharpen with it on this system. And the first time you sharpen any knife on here, it's going to take a little longer because you've got to create that convex edge, right? Whereas initially it's going to have probably just a really tight bevel. We're going to sharpen this, and then I'm going to sharpen these scissors and show you how it kind of does with that, one of the tricks they do. So I already showed you kind of how to set the angle. And let's do normally for an outdoor knife I would do like 25 degrees on each side, but I'm going to go a little more aggressive. You can go down to like 22 and a half. That's a little more aggressive. That'll help kind of really get you that mirror shine. So let's give that a shot just for fun. So how it works, the belt, you kind of slip the belt on. It's got a little belt release here to kind of make it easier to get on. So you start with the big belt, throw it in there, and I'm going to speed up some of this once we get sharpening. And then you kind of give it a woo-woo. We'll start with, it's also variable speed. So down here is low speed, and it can go all the way up to high speed. But for most of the stuff you should be doing, you should be low to medium. So I'm going to go low plus, right? You don't really want to get crazy when you're sharpening a pocket knife. So the instructions are really good to tell you kind of how many passes you do on each side. But initially the concept is you start with the most coarse. We'll put these away. You start with the most coarse belt and then work just on one side until you feel a burr being raised up. So it's going to kind of push that metal and shave one side of it till a burr. You'll kind of feel that burr. I mean, you won't, I will, but when you're doing it, you will. And so you just stay on one side for 3, 4, 5 pulls, or however long it takes for that burr to form, but then keep track of how many you did because you want to do that same number on the other side. So that's one tip. Tip number 2, you want to start with the belt off, right? You want to put the knife in. Let's talk about this edge guide, because I'm actually not going to use the edge guide when I do this knife. So let me, I'm going to put the edge guide on. I'll do one pass with this big monster knife here, right? So the edge guide is for knives where, for example, I can't get this all the way to the point here, right, to the heel. I can't get that all the way in with this edge guide in place. So that edge guide is designed to let the knife kind of just glide along it. Whereas this kitchen knife, I can find, okay, I want to sharpen right here. This is where the edge starts, right here. So I want to start it right there. So you line that up right with the edge of your belt, and that's where you start it. And you don't want to wobble around. You want to line it up. And I'm not pressing down. I'm not pressing out. I'm just kind of resting it there at low to medium speed. And then I start, and then I pull. Now you'll notice I did something there, 2 things. One is I didn't pull it all the way through, because if you do, you're going to really mess up your tip. So another tip, haha, pun intended, is when you get to here, where the tip is, you want to stop where the tip is about halfway through your belt. That's number 1. Number 2 is you want to follow the contour of your blade as you're doing this. And they say you want to keep it perpendicular to the belt. I think that's a little confusing because you're like, well, this will be perpendicular. No, what they mean is this edge here, they want it to be perpendicular to this, how the belt is running. So for example, as I'm running through, you see the bottom edge is perpendicular, right? Look at where the blade intersects the belt. So it makes kind of a plus or a cross or a 90-degree angle there, right? As I'm coming through, I want to rotate and follow the contour so that I stay right at the edge there before that tip comes in. See, there's still a tiny little 90-degree angle there, right? And then I would stop right there. So I'm drawing in, letting it ride, and I follow the contour, and I raise it up and make sure I keep that same contour all the way. So those are 2 really important tips to make sure you don't mess up your tip. So what that means is you're not really sitting up high. I mean, I get down low and kind of really make sure I can keep my eye on the blade as it relates. So when I'm on the right side here, I'm watching this inside corner, and when I see it start to fall away, I raise my hand to keep that at 90 degrees. And if I'm doing the other side, I can kind of see it coming a little better, right? I can keep my eye right here, and I just watch and rotate it until, again, I get there. So don't pull it off, and keep the blade edge perpendicular to the belt. All right, so that was one pass. Let's do it again. And they say you want to do about an inch per second. That's about a good range for how fast to pull. And I'm not forcing it, not rushing it, not dragging. And another thing that I noticed, I'm listening. I want it to sound like I'm grinding metal. And then when you do the other side, I kind of want to make sure it's a similar sound, right? So let's do, and if you do too much, it'll float away. So just kind of don't force it. And that you can hear that grinding sound is consistent all the way through. That means I'm keeping consistent light pressure all the way. Okay, so after 4, I should, yeah, it's a little burr, but already, I mean, I can tell a difference in the profile. Oh, there, I felt that burr right there. I can feel it right there. Yep. So I can tell a difference already. Yeah, that burr is really pronounced there. All right, so we're ready to go to the other side. But let's not sharpen this one because it's a piece of crap. Let's go to something that's still a piece of crap, but slightly less crappy, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe they're just all crappy. But again, we're not going to use the edge guide for this. We're going to kind of freehand it a little bit. And so it's because I want to get all the way to the heel here. So I want to make sure I can get in there. So I mean, there's still this cutting, or this little guide here to catch it, but I just kind of want to balance it, and it's gonna come off at some point. Now it's gonna be just up to me to hold that right there, and it's okay to just kind of do this a few times to feel. You don't want to press in, and you don't want to be tilting out. You want to keep it straight up against this edge. So again, it's a piece of crap, so who cares? But again, here's what it looks like before. Let's remember how crappy it is, and let's sharpen this one. Oh, okay, good thing it's practice on. That slipped off there, didn't it? It's 2. It's 3. That's 4. Let's see. Not too much of a burr being pushed up yet. Let's go a couple more. Let's maybe go 6. Again, I'm not pulling it off, and I'm trying to stay with the contour. Yeah, that's looking really good on the tip. That was 5, or was that 6? I think that was 5. Again, I'm trying to curve it and go. All right, let's switch sides right there. Two. see how we did. All right, not too bad. But I can feel a burr now on this side, which makes sense, right? We create a burr on one side and then kind of push it over to the other. But it says once you do that, you're ready to change grits. So let's change grits. We pull off this one. And let's go, what's the next one now? Where are you? Here, the X22. All right, let's stick that on. And from here on out, we're gonna just alternate sides, right? We're not gonna do repeated ones on each side. Make sure we get our belt on. Now, if the belt isn't centering, it actually has a little tensioner here that you can adjust until it is riding just in the center. Right there, that's where we want it. All right, now we're gonna go, again, the same kind of approach, but just alternate sides. And again, the number of times you go each side doesn't matter as much as making sure you're even. Boy, that's not looking bad. That's not looking bad at all. Let's do a few more. And again, just try to float it, right? I'm not really slicing, I'm supporting all the way to the blade. But it does kind of surprise me every time it drops off there. I should support it a little more, maybe. I actually find this side easier to do because I have better vision, right? If I were ambidextrous and I could switch hands, I would. Maybe I'll see if I can get a better angle from it. No, it feels better to look this way. Pulling the tip off a little bit there. Okay, not bad. Okay, let's switch belts. And we'll go down to the X4 puppet. And as you can see, the belt changing is not that difficult. Just kind of get it lined up, hit that little tensioner or the little release there, and line it up. There we are. Let's go. it's looking better and better. Look, it's starting to get a little bit of mirror on there. Look at that. Let's do a couple more on each side. And one of the ways I can tell, you can hear the belt speeding up. Again, listening to it is really important. I can hear the belt speeding up as I'm getting close to the edge because it's taking less and less metal off. But already that is looking like a much superior edge. All right, I might do that a couple more times if I weren't videotaping it, but let's go to the last belt. Now, you don't have to use this last belt. I mean, this is sharp. This is working sharp for sure. But you know what? We're going for bling. It's a knife sharpening video. Come on. Hey, knifers. Let's get it really shiny. All right. Get it on there. All right. Let's see if we can get some shininess here. At this point, it's just polishing. It's really not taking off a lot of material. You hope. That's the design. Woo! Oh man. Wow. That really looks pretty good for only spending this much time on it. Let's do one more pass on each side and call it good. All right, let's take a peek. Yeah, that is really cool. I mean, to be able to do that quickly with that little work, boy, that's some. Okay, should we do it? Should we try the paper test again? Let's see. I should have done it before, but I guarantee it wouldn't have cut. Oh, not too sharp. Let's see. I didn't hold it very well. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's sharp, people. It's still a piece of crap, but yeah, is it shaving sharp, though? Let's see. Oh, it's pulling the hair. I don't know if it's shaving sharp yet. I kind of rushed it, but, well, I see some hairs. Yeah, a little. Right, we could get it there for sure. Just a little more time. And especially the first time you sharpen a knife on this system, you are reprofiling edge. You are going to a convex edge for the first time. But already, I mean, look at that. It is nice, and we've got that, 22.5 bevel on there. And boy, that's not bad. So that's how we do knives. Now for scissors, again, so pocket knife, you don't use the edge guide because you've got to kind of get in there deep. All right. If you use that edge guide, you can only get in this far, and you're not going to get good results. So, I had to kind of do it by hand there, and who knows how well I did. I think it felt okay. But here, really easy with a kitchen knife, right? Just let it ride there and just let it ride as you bring it across. Now, for scissors, there's a tip they recommend. You take a Sharpie and you color in the beveled edge of the scissors, and you only sharpen the beveled edge, right? You don't try to sharpen any other edge, so you just sharpen this beveled edge. I actually sharpened this edge already today. Look at that. It looks pretty cool. But I only sharpened one side, and I marked both because I figured I'd do this one on camera. So you use the, not the X65. They recommend using the X22 for scissors. Here we go. Kind of the second coarsest if you don't include the super coarse one. So the middle one if you do include that. But they recommend using the X22 on, again, low to medium speed. And then you don't use these guides. There's actually a little guide down here. And you rest the blade, right? You find right here where it sharpens, and you rest that right against the belt. And same rules, right? Once you've got it in place, you kind of rest it there and pull it through, and then get it, stop it. Don't pull it off because you'll pull that tip. So let's give it a shot, see how it goes. That was pass one, and well, we got a little bit of marker off. Let's keep going. Move that edge guide out of my way. Saw that too late. All right, that's better. Again, you've got that guide there, but then eventually it drops off, so you kind of have to be ready. Don't be pressing too hard. That's kind of a good gauge to see if I'm pressing too hard. If it drops, then I'm pressing too hard. I really just want to use this to hold it in place. And then look on here. See, we're getting our marker here. Not so much here, and then again here. So I probably am not pushing hard enough there, or pushing too hard somewhere else. Well, now we're getting somewhere. And I can see I might have to adjust, right? I had to adjust my angle. Again, you don't have this perfect guide there. Like you do with the blade, right? But that's looking pretty good. I've got a little bit of marker here and a little bit here. So let's just get those this time. There we go. And you got sharp scissors. Listen to that. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah, that's sharp, baby. I don't know. I'm sure. Don't do that. I'm sure it's sharp. I mean, I don't know what that proves, but I mean, it's a nice clean cut. It's sharp. What you got to do is do this. These are my scissors, but steal your wife's scissors. Sharpen them and then put them back. See if she even notices. Maybe I'll do that. But yeah, that's how you sharpen them. So you sharpen scissors, titanium bladed ones. It's pretty cool. So there you go. That is essentially how you use the Work Sharp Knife and Tool Sharpener Ken Onion Edition. Lots of cool little tricks. Comes with all these belts. Comes with an instructional DVD, but you don't need an instructional DVD. You've got YouTube. Now you should probably watch the instructional DVD. Adjustable speed. You can mount it to a bench if you want. You can also add on a tool grinder. You can take off this guide here. This will snap off if you really tug on it, and then you can release this and rotate this around and make it a grinder for doing axes, or this actually will pop all the way off too, if you really need it to. But there you go. It's a pretty versatile little thing. You're looking at about, boy, I forget what the MSRP is. I'll pop it up on the screen. I want to say 200 and some odd. So not super cheap, but probably the knives you're working with aren't super cheap, unless you've got 25-cent, crappy Goodwill knives, or this thing. But again, I recommend if you've got a knife you care about, right, get some masking tape, put it along the edge. I'm going to probably practice some more on some craft knives, although, I mean, this isn't too bad, but I want to make sure I'm making no mistakes before I throw a Benchmade Osborne or an Emerson or a K-Bar Becker or something that I care about on there. I mean, it's hard to mess it up so bad that a professional couldn't get it back, but I'd rather be able to do a good job myself. So anyway, this is Ferrari Steve. Thanks for watching. I hope it was helpful. I hope it kind of gives you a better idea of what the Work Sharp can and can't do. What it can't do is go beyond these angles. That's one of the complaints I know people have versus the original one. The original one had a wider angle range. However, I think for what most of us are sharpening, this is gonna be fine, right? You're looking at, 20 degrees per side for a kitchen knife, and probably 25 to 22 and a half for your outdoor knives and pocket knives, and it'll do the trick. I think it's pretty cool. I'm happy with the purchase, and I think you probably will be too. So this is Ferrari Steve. Make sure that the first time you have to use your knife, it's not the first time you have to use your knife. Si vis pacem parabellum, and stay safe out there.